Good morning and welcome to Shamanic Sundays. My name is Kimberly Pinkson. I'm here with my dad. Hey, Dad.
Hey, hey, buenos
Dr.
dias.
Buenos dias, Dr. Tomás Pinkson. Good to be here with you and to all of our Shamanic Sundays community out there in the world.
Yeah, amen to that. It
Thank
is good.
you. That was funny. I was going to say, we gather here today as if it was a wedding or a funeral. And let's say it's a birthday. It's each of our birthday today because we show up every day and anew. And we're here with for Shamanic Sundays to help be, I don't know if bridge builders is the right word. We're carrying the wisdom forward that you were gifted from your uh, indigenous mentors and teachers and your ancestors, and you sharing that with me and many of our community members online here, and Nicole and Nusi. And so we're here to share that. So thank you for showing up. Would you start us off with a morning prayer, please?
Yeah, gratitude to the creative wisdom power of the universe that wants us to show up. The creative wisdom, power, energy of the universe that wants to show up because it's manifested us in the physical form and it's giving us life force with every breath. So gratitude to you, creating wisdom power of the universe. Within us, above us, coming into us from above and from below and from each of the four directions, and the central direction, which is in us and we're in, and is infinite. Gratitude for this gift of incarnation in an amazing manifestation of billions of years of evolution, our physical bodies that our spirits live in. And thank you for the opportunity through Kimberly's vision to bring us together on Shamanic Sundays, those of us who are here now live and those who will listen later at times that work for them, the schedules of their lives. Thank you for all of our lives, bringing us together, our hearts, minds, and spirits with this day of being alive. Like you said, give me a birthing day. It's on us. What do we want to birth? What qualities of consciousness and being do we want to birth on this day that we're given? We've got no guarantee of tomorrow, but we got 100% certainty of right now. So that's what we got to work with. So thank you, Great Spirit, for right now and the opportunity to open ourselves, our awareness, the gift of awareness that you give us, and all the different levels of our trans dimensional being to receive information through those bandwidths of awareness. And when we choose it, as I do, and I know Kimberly, you do, and I think everybody's listening into this chooses to open our awareness to the wisdom guidance of how we can best show up to live the truth of who we are, what we are, sacred, worthy, luminous beings of love that is forgiving and receiving to help heal the wounds of the world.
Oh, amen. Thank you. Can you just want to check technical question? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Okay. I thought for some reason my audio went out. I see a couple of our friends are calling in from West Marin, so I hope the weather, you guys are doing okay over there with the big waves last week and the rains this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of that down this way. I'm talking to Abuela Lluvia, rain spirit goddess, to bring some of her medicine down this way to Southern California. We need it. Oh,
Oh, thank you. So I was thinking about we had a question last week about animal spirits and bringing in your animal allies. And we dug into quite a few things last week that included, but I feel like we didn't do that justice to the question. So I thought we could dig a little bit more into that.
did you
And I
notice what?
wanted,
Excuse me. Did you guys listen? Notice she just busted me that I didn't fulfill what the person asked last week. Busted.
yeah, that's my daughterly job. I have to bust you sometimes, right?
And you do it
But
so well.
but I think last week, if my memory serves me correctly, and it does sometimes and doesn't always, but that it was me that led us astray just as much as you. Sometimes you lead us astray more than I do. But last week, I think it was both of us.
Yeah, and I trust that process of being led astray. I think
Yes.
That's the spirit, you know, the great spirit saying, hey, you're dreaming too small on what you're focusing on. I want to open you up to wider bandwidth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's really good. I love that phrase that you use that a lot, Dad. You say you're dreaming too small. What does that mean to you when you say that?
It means I've fallen asleep into limiting what's possible for me to manifest in a given moment of being alive to an identity connected with my physical body and my ego. Dreaming too small.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever my ego can dream up is obviously ego oriented, and it's going to serve ego. It's not going to necessarily serve others or the greatest good. And I'm more interested in being a part of a process that moves from identity based on me, or Western Eurocentric conditioning based on false perceptions of separation to we, moving from me to we, to awareness of our sacred unity of Laha, our sacred unity, and listening to its dream, asking its dream, accessing that wisdom that knows how to manifest out of a field of infinite possibility, the universe that we live in, and we're living in it. I'd rather tune into that wisdom and say, hey, what'd you have in mind here in birthing us here and protecting us, to bringing us this far in our lives and giving us the gifts that we have of self-awareness and what we've learned from our teachers and from life. What would you like to use us to dream through on this reality that we're experiencing? What would you like to dream through us? It's going to contribute to fullest blossoming, greatest good of everybody, a win-win world. So that's a bigger dream. Right.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
what I
Thank you.
mean.
Thank you.
So we
Yeah,
got distracted again from the power animals. So
there we go. Okay, well, so let's start our next topic of the morning. Let's talk about the blue deer, and you use that in a lot of your work, a lot of your imagery. There's a blue deer. Could you talk to us a little bit about how the deer spirit came to you as an ally in your life?
Show first Vision Quest, which was when 1972, I think. Um, my 50th year coming up, a Vision Quest in March coming up. I can already feel the medicine of that working in me. And curious to who Spirit's going to bring in to join me. I know you are, may it be so, and a few others when we go out on quest. So my first time up in the mountains, alone in solitude and fasting, up in the High Sierra, about 10,000 feet in the High Sierra, yeah. Scared shitless because there were bears around, and I'd seen them and had to deal with them before when I was with my group of outward bound folks that were part of a team I put together with a few wilderness skilled people to create a wilderness program for working with heroin addicts. I was directing a drug treatment program working with heroin addicts in the early 70s, and it brought these people together to help me develop a program for heroin addicts using the wilderness environment and particular experiences that Outward Bound to develop. So anyway, I asked them all to put it together a week of going out in the wilderness and taking us through experiences to open us up, crack us open, like mountain climbing and rock climbing, and then the period of solitude, fasting alone, away from the group. We was all sitting back by the warm fire at night, but you were in the darkness by yourself, which, as I said, scared the shit out of me. So it was a really long, anxious night. And just before I tried to, before the sun went down, and I was trying to get into my sleeping bag because it was cold up there, high elevation at night, and I heard some crackling in the woods behind me. I mean, I was immersed in woods, but in the woods behind me, and adrenaline coursed through me. Was it a bear coming? And I turned around, all freaked out, and I saw a deer, just a deer, walking gently and softly and consciously, just slow deer like Tai Chi through the trees. It saw me, looked at me. I could feel some energy coming from that deer, to kind of like a reassuring energy. You're going to be okay. You can lighten up. You can let go of some of that constriction that you got going on there, and surrender with faith and trust that you're being protected. You're going to be okay. So I got that energy. I think even on a deeper level than my conscious mind was fully aware of at the time. And then when the darkness finally hit and the cold finally hit to the point where I couldn't stay out anymore, I got into my sleeping bag. No tent, just my sleeping bag. So there was the magnificent sky up above and just beauty and power. But it was a long night because every time I heard a noise of crack in the woods, adrenaline shot through me and just rigid with fear. And then look into the darkness, breath all constricted, body all constricted in fear and tightness, and see, okay, I don't see a bear, so I'm okay for right now, and then try to fall asleep again and get woken up by the next noise that came up. So it was a very long night. And finally, when the light of pre-dawn came in, and I was so joyful that the light was coming and would dispel the darkness, and I'd be able to see, and I was saved, and I was alive, and hallelujah, I made it through the night. I was just full with joy, and it came into my awareness in that joy, remembering the experience with the deer. And I thought back to, well, that message the deer gave me that I was going to be okay. And they were sending like a gentle strength into me that even though I would continue to be fearful and anxious through the night, I would be okay. On the deeper level, I would be okay. I was okay. I was going to survive and make it. And in fact, that's what happened. And so I felt this connection to the deer as a helper that really helped me through a scary, hard time with the medicine it gave me. And in that particular time, 1907, let's see, when did I start? 72, yeah. I didn't really have a knowledge about power animals. Just wasn't part of my, call it if you will, my cosmovision, my understanding of reality. But that experience with the deer opened the doorway. The deer opened the doorway to be able to, with a deeper energy that it was existing, whatever you want to call it. I call it spirit, that I could access my connection with awareness and get the strength I needed to do what I needed to do and survive through the night and be okay. So I felt great gratitude for the deer. And when coming home from that experience, driving home from that experience of the 24 hours of solitude, and really realizing what transformational power that 24 hours of fasting and being quote unquote alone in solitude in a wilderness setting revealed to me and helped me see and work with and grow and understand more deeply how things work. So I realized I'm just scratching the surface of that experience. I want to get more of it. And so on the way home, I stopped at a bookstore in Sausalito. Lord lived in Marin at the time. And this book jumped out called Lame Deer, Seeker of Visions, about Lakota Wichasa-Wakan, a medicine man, particular kind of medicine man. And I opened up the book and started reading from the first page. Well, Lame Deer was talking about when he was a teenager, him going through an experience of being in solitude, fasting, and quote unquote a wilderness environment, the same as I had just been. And so I felt a sense of connection with him. Oh, he understands the power of that experience. And I said, I wonder what else is going on in his culture that might been gifted to him through the wisdom traditions of his culture, in this case, the Lakota. And I felt a kind of a curious desire to learn more about that culture that produced him, that created the opportunity for him to do his first, what I found out by reading the book, Vision Quest, because I didn't know that term really. I had just gone on, but I had just scratched the surface of it and wanted more. And so as I read more, that's what opened the doorway to learning about indigenous wisdom ways. And as I did that, I learned that one of the key dynamics of that is the recognition with how everything's connected, all of us two-leggeds. when we're born, at the same time, from the spirit world comes some manifestation of an animal that's connected with our soul. Our souls are connected, and that animal's taken, that spirit's taken birth in an animal body, connected with us, with our soul, and has medicine to share with us, has teachings, power from its being, from what it has that we as a two-legged don't have, that if we open to it, can help us in our lives. They have gifts, medicine to help us with our lives and to face our challenges in ways that we shift out of being victim to them and use the challenges and whatever those challenges push inside of us as grist for the mill, like Ram Dass would say, to do the work, the inner work of polishing up our stardust, to wake up, wise up, and live love now, break out of the imprisonment of the ego constriction identity associated with a physical body and limiting our sense of who we are to just that, when we're way, way more than that. And so animal helpers, power animals, animal spirits with power, medicine power, spiritual power, are part of our lives from the get-go, whether we know it or not. Our culture doesn't teach us about that, so we don't usually connect with it, but yet it still happens. People still notice. In dreams, sometimes the reappearance of specific animals, whatever that animal might be, or a particular connection to a certain animal that you've either seen in real life or on a video, TV or documentaries or something, and you just felt some connection with that animal. Well, that's the spirit of your animal trying to get your attention to be able to connect consciously, and so it can let you know what it needs from you, what food it needs from you, so it feels valued, respected, and connected with, which is through gratitude and prayers for that animal's lives, that it can then still, if we open up humbly to learn from it, it can teach us and give us medicine that can help us in our lives. So it's an interconnected circular loop of resource access that's available to all of us, but our culture doesn't teach us anything about that. So to finish up the responding to the question about how I connected with power animals, it was through that first encounter with the deer on my first vision quest, time of solitude in nature, and that opened the doorway for me to enter into connection with indigenous wisdom elders and learn about the role of power animals in their culture and how to access them and how to feed them and how to work skillfully and fruitfully with them, so they can get from us what they need, and which is our intention and gratitude, and they can give to us what they have to offer to help us with our lives. And so I've gone out and it's now almost 50 years of vision questing and medicine journeys and pilgrimages. More power animal spirits have come to me. So there's a number of power animal spirits that I work with and try to feed every day that I'm alive. So with gratitude, so I can keep those pipes open to their input to me to help me with my challenges as best I can. So that's so just grateful. And Kayumari is a primary. When I got involved with the Huichols 10 years after my first quest, or whatever, however many years it was, almost 10 years later, I found out their primary spirit animal is the deer. And they have a whole pantheon of deers, but the blue deer is like, you might say, one of the main jefes of the whole show, and leads the people on the pilgrimage to Wirikuta to find the sacred peyote medicine and harvest it ceremonially, led by the shaman in the ancient traditional respectful ways that helps the people find their lives. That's what they say. We go to Wirikuta on the pilgrimage to find our lives. And in fact, the one creation story of the Huichol, there's many versions. When they first got to Wirikuta, where the peyote grows, they saw that, in fact, the peyote was the footprints of the blue deer in the desert. And as it pranced through the desert there, it left these amazing, different kind of footprints. And they got curious. They said, "What is that? Let's check it out." And they went out and got the guidance about how to harvest just the top of those peyotes, the roots, they call them the bones, which still stay in the earth and can regenerate, grow new ones, and then how to clean them. Those cactus tops, and then how to eat them how to take them in respectfully, and how to give back to the spirits of Wirikuta there, and to the ancestor spirits there, and all that live there. So there was not just taking, but there was a giving back, and that's what a lot of the ceremonies are about. But there it is. There's Kayamari, the blue deer, leaving the peyote medicine to help the people find their lives when it's taken in a respectful, ceremonial way. So there's some sharing about the deer. All right.
All right. Thank you. I remember on Vision Quest, when you're in the Sierras, we were all, we'd broken camp, done our closing prayer, did our final, check, make sure we weren't leaving anything behind. And we got a couple 100 yards away from camp. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, I know there's something back there that I forgot. Do you remember this?
No, go ahead.
And I went like back to camp. I had my pack already on and left the group. You all waited for me. And I went back and there was a deer leg, like a freshly chewed up, like the bottom part of a deer leg. And, it still had the, ligaments and the little blood and stuff. And it was like, how could none of us have seen that 3 minutes earlier? Right. And so I felt like such a, I was like, holy, what, is there a bear like right around here? Just dropped that. But then I was like, I was meant to take that deer leg. And I felt like it was a very clear connection of a deer calling out to me that the deer spirit would guide me in how to walk that next chapter of my life. And I had that bone that I wrapped up, with a special piece of linen that I had and carried it for about, I want to say about 10 years. And then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, after 10 years, it was very clear the medicine, I needed to pass it back. And so the next quest that went back to Yosemite, I took it back and returned it with, of course, so much gratitude, but that was such a cool thing. But because not everyone gets to go out into the backcountry of Yosemite or gets to do an in-person physical trip with you or ceremony with you, you are still doing them pretty regularly, which is awesome. So people can always reach out to you about that directly. But for this morning, I wonder, is there a drum near to you that you could grab?
Well, I'm in my Tukey spirit house. It's full of drums. One,
Okay.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, at least 4 of them.
Okay. Well, so will you go grab whichever one is calling out to you? I want to invite folks out there to close your eyes for a second and think about a challenge that you're facing in your life or that you may be facing this upcoming week. And just give you a second to think about that.
Okay.
All right. So now that you've got your drum and you all have had a minute to think about either a challenge you're facing in your life right now or a challenge that you will be facing this coming week. Dad, if you could guide us in a little drumming and visualization about calling in either an animal in general that we need support from. I see some folks are sharing jaguar, bear, river dolphin, deer, for some others perhaps. But yeah, just a little drumming and guided visualization on calling in, opening up to an animal spirit that may need us or that we may need for the coming week.
All right. Well,
Okay, thank you.
all right. Picking up this drum, it has drawings on it of different animals. And the drum beat helping us attune to our heartbeat and the heartbeat of the universe. Sacred unity in which everything's connected. There's no such thing as a thing. It's all energy patterns dancing a particular relationship for a period of time. It's all energy, sacred unity, all connected. No separation. The power of our intention, focused energy stream of thought, of feeling, of desire to connect with. If we don't have a power animal that we're aware of, to connect for the first time. If we do have one or more, through each drumbeat reverberating through the infinite field, helping us to connect deeper with those power animals that we're already in relationship with. And through the vibration of intention in the infinite web of interconnectivity, those of us who have not yet had an experience of our power animal, everything starts with intention. And so opening yourself, all the dimensions of your multi-dimensional being, body, mind, heart, spirit, soul, creative imagination, opening yourself, sensitivity to the field, responding, the field of infinite possibility, responding to your seeking by beginning to vibrate an energy from that field of infinite possibility. The spirit of your power animal receives, gets, this one I'm connected with is finally, or once again, opening up to wanting to connect consciously and wanting to connect in a way of humility, in a way of respect, with an openness to learn and a willingness to give in a true way. And so the spirit of the power animal feels the sincerity of what you seek, feels the realness of it, the truth of it, the integrity of it, and says, that's what I've been waiting for. And so begins to come through time and space in whatever form or way to appear in your creative imagination, in your mind's eye, to that animal being, that spirit embodied in a particular animal. Don't be attached or judged to what comes into your mind, what that is. Just open to receive it. It might even be an animal that you don't like, or that's scary, or that looks ugly, or fearsome. It might even be that, like a scorpion. Nobody wants to make a cozy, comfortable partnership with a scorpion and invite it into bed with you when you go to sleep at night and dream. Nobody wants to do that. And so the initial response can be constriction. No, that's not what I want. I want a golden eagle or a white buffalo or magnificent stallion or whatever. That's my ego desire. But surrender with humility and receptivity to the way the mystery works. And so if you do get a scary power animal like a scorpion, that's not by accident. And so it might be, well, take away the might. It's bringing you, potentially bringing you insight and deeper understanding of your own nature. For instance, if I get the animal of a scorpion as a power animal, which I haven't, but just to play this out, suppose I did, one of the things that might yuck me out is in fear is the potential of that and power of that scorpion to be able to sting me in a really painful way, inducing pain and possibly even death. It's a lot of power. And so that might, if I open with respectful, deeper listening, it might reveal that it's bringing me medicine. Tomás, you have the power to sting yourself and other people in a hurtful way. You have the power to do that. And if you don't take conscious ownership of that power, it will come out unconsciously. And so that power animal of the stingray is coming to help me wake up and realize that and take responsibility for it. Because that power, instead of using that power to sting, use that power to open my heart. The tenderness and kindness and generosity. And dissolving, releasing the constrictions of the ego-based identity, imprisonment of that, and open instead. Come back home into the oneness of sacred unity and access conscious connection and attunement and communion with that infinite creative wisdom power. And with the help of your power animal, surrender to it and let it teach you how to use the medicine it's showing you through its appearance, how to live your life in a direction with an intention and attention in alignment with practices that help you live your intention in the day that you're given, which is today, towards realization of your highest potentials and fullest blossoming and greatest good in this life. So when you reach the end of the road, you're able to look back on how you showed up to live your life, and you got a big smile on your face, even as your spirit's going out, and a big smile in your heart, and you feel peaceful and good. And you're able to release into that final mystery of following the last breath out, back into the sacred oneness that on the deepest level of our being we never really left. Breathing into that, being breathed by it, breathing out, letting go what doesn't serve our fullest blossoming and greatest good, opening up a little more room for the next breath coming into us of life force, polishing up our stardust, strengthening us to meet and work with whatever our challenges are in a way of wisdom that opens the doorway to bring through fullest blossoming, greatest good. Our lives, our families, our work in the world, and the healing of the sacred hoop. And thank you all listening for the work of your life, all the work you've done in your life to bring you to the point of listening here and attuning your awareness to what's triggered inside of you by the beat of the drum, by the beat of the words that I'm sharing that vibrate you. Oh, Pumprios. Hey. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Love that. I always, anytime I can sit with you and have you drumming and storytelling, guiding nearby, it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope you all out there, if there's, I see a couple folks sharing some of what maybe came to them this morning. If you want to share with us, you welcome that. And also just remembering that, like this morning, I didn't have a specific animal come to me, but I feel a good sense of, all right, I know what the intention and question and, I'm putting out there for the week. And I feel confident and faith that some animal is going to show up and guide me, give me what I need for this week. So if you had a similar experience, let's keep that faith together. I think of one of Corbin, my son's buddies, on their first rite of passage when they were 10 years old, and one of the little boys was really upset he didn't get a power animal clearly coming to him. You may remember that, Dad, and eventually he got one. So
Trust the process.
we'll get one. Yeah, trust the process.
We don't get everything on our ego's timing. Surrender to divine spirit's timing, divine timing.
Yeah.
Faith, trust.
Yeah. So the jaguar, deer, facing fears, dancing around with joy, bear spirit, eagle spirit. Yes, you have one more thing.
Yeah, just in closing, with all of us now and in the future, getting connection with conscious connection with the jaguar, with the river dolphin, with whatever it is for you. That one of the ways we feed that power animal spirit is with appreciation, gratitude. Thank you for coming to me. Thank you for your medicine. Thank you for your lives, and with prayers for their families that on the physical plane are so threatened. in this middle world at this time. And when that's coming from our heart, it's not just empty words. That gratitude. Thank you for your life, dear Spirit. Thank you for all that you do for me, helping me on my path and my family, and helping the people on their path. I appreciate you. I love you, and prayers and protection for your people. So when that's coming from our hearts, it, like in any other relationship, the receiver, in this case, the spirit of the power animal, feels seen and appreciated, and so it opens to want to give us more. So that's how we. It's not by asking or taking or grasping. It's by giving gratitude that the doorway opens for us to receive, and applying that for prayers and protection for all those families of the power animals that came to and will be coming to people, including you, Miss Krishna Das.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here again. We'll see you next week. Happy Shamanic Sundays, everyone.
Oh, all blessings. Right.
All blessings. Take care. Thank you, animal spirits that came to us and will come to us.
Oh.
Bye.